All right. So the next thing we're going to look at, so we've done marquee selections and we looked at color-based selections a little bit last week. We're going to look at them again. I'm going to go over, actually, I'm going to do all three of them because they work similarly, but one of the things about the different selection tools is that each of them has something that they're really good at, that they're better at than others. All of the tools, because it has this, some of them have programming associated with them. It's like you're asking the computer to actually make the selection for you. It can be fooled, okay? So we're gonna use each of these here, okay? So let's go back to Photoshop and we'll do these one at a time. So what I want to do first is we're going to use the quick select tool first. So the quick select tool, if you remember, it's nested with the object selection tool and the magic wand tool.
So click and hold on whichever one and it'll bring up that menu.
Okay, now the quick select tool is a brush, but it also selects color. So basically we have a midpoint where the color is sampled from, and then we have a brush dialog that is going to help determine how aggressive the tool behaves. So like right now, what Nicole has is way too much. She needs to dial that back. She needs to make that brush smaller. She can do that either by going to the top up here where it says 175 and she can change the brush dynamics up there. Or I don't think that people have to memorize all the shortcut keys, but I'll tell you what, it saves a lot of time. This one, you can increase and decrease the size of your brush with the bracket keys on the keyboard. That might be my very favorite shortcut in Photoshop. So it makes life so much easier to use the bracket keys. It's okay if you don't remember it. You can use this menu up at the top, that's fine. It's just, if you're in Photoshop for any period of time, you're gonna find life is just a lot easier and you can work a lot faster if you're using those bracket keys. And then Dan was asking about brackets versus French brackets. So brackets increase and decrease the size of the brush. French brackets, or holding the shift key, adjust the hardness of the brush. The brush can have a hard edge or it can have a soft feathered edge. Okay, now once you have that, and Nicole's an overachiever, she just like went for it. So deselect, if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Now I want you to see how this works. She's gonna click and she's gonna drag and watch what happens, okay? Okay, what's happening here? Okay, now I'm gonna have her stop, and I want to talk about this before you guys get too far. I want to explain what's happening. This is a color-based selection tool. And what's happening is it is searching for contrast. This middle crosshair is sampling that blue color. And then within a certain tolerance, which in this case is determined by the size of the brush, more aggressive if it's larger, less aggressive if it's smaller, it is going to search for an area of contrast. When it feels that it has found enough contrast, it will stop on its own. It will stop selecting. It finds that edge, okay? So you can see, she can go ahead and start clicking and dragging again. And you can watch it as she moves, it jumps, okay? Now, it can be fooled. You see what happened there? She got all of the 5, but she also has this interior area of the 5 that she perhaps did not want. And now she's going to, we talked about this a little bit last week. If we are using selection tools, by default, this tool will just add to the selection. That's how this one works. But that's not how all of the selection tools work. Normally with a selection tool, most of the selection tools, if I click and make a selection, it makes the selection. If I click and make another selection, the first selection will go away. But Shift and Alt allow us to manipulate selections. If I hold the shift key, I am adding to the selection. If I hold the alt key, I am subtracting from the selection. So she is going to hold the alt key and then watch what happens to the cursor. Now, instead of having a plus in the middle, it's got a minus. And now if she clicks and drags in this white area, it subtracts from the selection. That white area is now removed from the selection. Now, there's still a little bit, she can fine tune this a little bit more. There's an area of lower contrast in between the little areas of the 5. She can zoom in really tightly there. She's using the hand tool to slide over there. And now she can grab that tool. And this is where we talked about how aggressive it is and that tolerance based on the size. She can now make that quick select tool really small. The bracket key get really, really small. And now, again, hold the minus key. I'm sorry, the alt key, and select in that area a little bit at a time and fine tune the heck out of it. She uses Control Plus on the keyboard, or Command Plus in your case. If you're on Mac and I say Control, that means Command. If I say Alt, that means Option.
And how do you move it over?
She's using the hand tool, but there's also a shortcut for the hand tool. So the hand tool, you can click and basically scroll back and forth. The shortcut for the hand tool, if you have another tool selected and you don't want to go back to the tools panel, you can actually hold the space bar down to get the hand tool. And this takes time and practice. Nicole makes this look easy because she's done this a lot. It takes prep. So if your selection's not perfect, don't sweat it. You have to play with these tools for a while to get things to work a little bit better. Like one of the things I'm going to have you play with after this, there's a tool called the lasso tool. And it's a great tool, but oh my gosh, does it take time to get used to. It is not an easy tool to use. So don't get too frustrated with yourself. Be patient. Nicole makes this look easy because she has experience. She's done this quite a bit. So work on getting that selected. And then when you feel like you have it selected, you're going to, again, Control C, Control V to put that on its new layer. Make sure you're on the background layer. So it's tricky when you copy and paste. Sometimes it looks like nothing's happened, but make sure you look at your layers panel because it will paste directly on top of where it was before. And now if you grab the new tool. All right, so that's the quick select tool. All right, now